The city offers everything from amazing events, dining experiences, shopping, and entertainment to truly capture the spirit of good living. We wanted to find out from residents what they think stands out about the city of Duluth. Specifically, what is the city of Duluth's mojo? We started the conversation on a more personal note.
Mojo.
What do you mean by mojo?
Actually, this hat. And spray painting, I guess.
My mojo is girls' sports.
I think I'm very calm and easy.
I'm hunting a lot. Squirrels, that's my thing. Skateboarding, you already know, it's the best.
My mojo is just to make everyone feel friendly and happy.
The city of Duluth definitely has mojo. It has a great combination of the old and the new. I love the revitalization of some of the older buildings.
I think it's quaint. I like the fact that you can walk around. There's not a whole lot of hustle and bustle, and it's kind of got the small town feel.
I think there's a huge sense of community here. Like, I'm walking from school today, which means I feel comfortable walking in our streets because there's such an attitude of family here.
Like the community and how it's interacted with each other, like everybody plays a part and like they basically are together. Yeah.
It's an effort we make daily to ensure you and your family and friends can continue to grow and prosper in the city of Duluth, whose mojo stands apart from the rest.
Good evening again, everyone. Welcome. Isn't that a great video? Thank you. You know, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about mojo. We're going to talk about what can we do just to dig in a little deeper into Duluth and find out what makes us trendy and what's making us hot and what's making us the place to be now. So that's what mojo is all about, finding your magic. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. Recently, I don't know about the volume, are you okay? Okay, recently in the Atlanta Business Chronicle, 4 cities were mentioned: Duluth, Alpharetta, Roswell, and Sandy Springs in the Atlanta Business Chronicle. And also recently in a newspaper called Georgia Cities, there's a full page on downtown Duluth, arts and entertainment. And then coming out again in next month in Georgia Trend magazine, Duluth was named one of the 6 destination cities in Georgia. So people are definitely looking our way. Right? You know, many municipalities struggle with uniqueness. Sometimes cities will say, well, we've got all these great things going on. We've got bike paths, and we've got coffee shops, we've got tattoo stores, we've got great restaurants, we've got entertainment, public art. Well, those are all very, very, very important amenities. And we have all those now. And you know what? A lot of other cities do too. So what are we going to do to be even more unique? How can we go even deeper to make Duluth a more attractive destination for people to move here and bring their families here? Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm saying all those things are very critical and very important. If we didn't have sidewalks and we didn't have bike paths and coffee shops and all the great little boutique shops that are popping up, we wouldn't be where we are now. So it's very important. All those things have to be in place to be a sustainable city. But we're going to go just a little bit further tonight, okay? How many of you know anything about continental divides? Okay, we'll put a map of that up. All right, in the United States, there are 6 continental divides. One of those runs through our city. But that's pretty darn unique, isn't it? The Eastern Continental Divide runs through our city. Chris is going to point that out for us. The most famous of all the divides, as you know, is in Colorado, out west, the Great Continental Divide. But the Eastern Continental Divide is also very important. It runs south, southwest, south. It starts in Pennsylvania, runs through 7 states, including our own Duluth, and ends up in Kissimmee, Florida. This Eastern Continental Divide even has a Facebook page. So it's a cool thing. Continental Divide are exactly the reasons that some cities are even founded. The old City Hall, or the old Baptist Church, the rock building that we're going to be saving, actually sits on top of the Eastern Continental Divide. And if you go over there and look, you can see that the church steps, you can see here, have a crack in them. When this church burned in 1946, citizens actually rebuilt the church back on the Continental Divide, but this time they used old railroad tracks and railroad ties to put the church on. So if you go up underneath that church, you can see railroad tracks and railroad ties under that church. That's pretty stable, isn't it? That's why we're keeping that building. Another thing about the Continental Divide that's very important to Duluth, because of the Continental Divide, the railroad's located here. Railroads will follow Continental Divides because it puts them above the water, it puts them above the creeks and the rivers. So because of the Eastern Continental Divide, we became a train city. And because we became a train city, we were one of the major stops between Atlanta and Gainesville for the trade of cotton and the sale of cotton. Now, I'm showing you this tonight because we actually purchased this for $8 at Washington. So now cotton is a trendy thing. It used to be an old mojo, now it's a trendy decor. So you can buy these on Main Street. But that railroad is still very important to our economic stability. Even though it doesn't stop here anymore, it goes through Duluth 26 to 34 times a day. One day. That's why we're going to always have a traffic problem in downtown Duluth. But that's an old mojo, the Continental Divide, that is now a cool mojo for us today. Right? You know, I'm convinced that every city has something unique about it. And you may have to really work hard to uncover what it is or even to articulate what it is. But I think Duluth does a great job at that. We have learned that competitive strategy is all about being different. So that's why we are really working hard to make sure that Duluth is a little bit edgier and a little bit different. Okay, one last thing I want to say before we change slides. This council and this city staff, we share the same vision. And it's taken us a few years to have the dialogue that we need to have. But I'm so proud tonight to say that we all realize what a great city we're leading, and we are a destination city. So this council is ready to up the ante and do some really cool projects this year, which I'm going to share with you. We are not Las Vegas, and we are not, what's another cool place? New Orleans. We're not San Francisco, but we are unique, and we are unique to our area. So tonight, we're going to talk about that a little more. Now, I want to take a quick look back at our vision statement. And I promise I won't stay on these long, but I think this is really important. In the shovel are our 4 vision statements for the city. I'll give you a chance just to look at those. I want to elaborate on them. Attractive destination, quality community, world-class government, and a sustainable economic environment. Those are our vision statements. They have been our vision statements for 7 years. Now, if you look to the right, you see 4 qualities of a lifelong community, a place that you might want to live from birth to heaven. So when we plan projects and we spend money, we try to make sure that our projects are full of social capital, which means that we engage our citizens and we value citizens. We make sure that our projects are earning projects that bring new job opportunities to the area, because we know our millennials are going to probably change jobs about 9 or 10 times before they retire. We want to make sure that our city is full of vitality, that we're safe, beautiful, attractive, wellness options, and we want to make sure that our lifestyle options are plentiful, that you have different places to live, different types of entertainment that aren't as a prevalent part of our city. So those are the things that we keep in mind before we approve projects. So if you'll keep all this in mind, you'll be able to understand the projects that I'm telling you that have been approved. And notice we are tweeting tonight if anybody would like to do that.
Thank you. I'm glad they didn't think I was being rude.
Oh, yeah, thank you. All right, now if you'll notice over to my left and your right, we have Jenny Troutman. You probably already noticed her. Jenny is what you call a visual facilitator. And she comes to a meeting and she brings clarity and vision to projects. And we asked Jenny to come tonight and try to illustrate what I'm talking about. And then at the end of the meeting, I think we'll have a very beautiful marketing tool that we'll be able to display and use in different ways. So Jenny, all eyes are on you right now. We'll come back to you. I'm hearing impaired, and I was at a conference last year that had a visual facilitator, and it just made a world of difference for me, so I really wanted to try that tonight. So thank you, Jenny. All right, so keeping all these things in mind, we're going to look at some of our accomplishments. Excuse me, thank you. All right, I asked all of the 7 departments and the council members to please tell me what you think the 2014 highlights were. Now, for a few years, I felt like I was saying some of the same things over and over. But I am happy to say now that there is so much going on, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything tonight. I'm going to give you a lot of tidbits of information, and you'll be able to move out into the lobby and see a lot of graphics. You'll be able to ask questions, or maybe you might think of things you want to ask us later. So just hang in there with me. One of the first things that we did this in 2014 that we've received a lot of praise about is all the signage that is going up over the city. It's really beautiful, isn't it? $300,000 worth of signage went up. And the good news is it was all paid for with SPLOST money. Now, this is not a SPLOST election year, so I am going to take a moment to say we desperately need SPLOST to be renewed every time it comes up. Do you realize that any time you spend a penny in this county, we get a portion of it? So people that shop at the Mall of Georgia are helping pay for the things we're doing. So please, SPLOST is critical. You'll hear that a lot tonight. But our signs are beautiful. This was all part of improving our communication around the city. We really upped up all of our social media. We really worked on that this year. We had tremendous events. Our largest event was the Duluth Fall Festival, which many people said was absolutely one of Duluth's greatest mojos, one of our greatest magic. In one weekend, we brought in about 100,000 people in one weekend. The Fall Festival, as you know, supports many of our projects that we do downtown, so it's a great festival. We also had some other great events. We had a wonderful July 3rd event here. We had New Year's Eve. We've had great concerts. We've had food trucks galore, which was really popular. The Duluth Fine Art League hosted a couple of art walks during the food truck night. So we had some wonderful events, record crowds too. And the music, I'm going to give you a new tagline, follow the divide to good music. I like that, don't you? On one side of the divide, we have the festival stage. We had record crowds at our summer concerts. On the other side of the divide, we have Red Clay Music Foundry. And you know that Eddie brings in some phenomenal music there. So you could follow the divide through Duluth and hear some great music. Also happening in this same category is we did install Ascension, a piece of public art, which was fully funded by AGCO, over $100,000 for that project. So thank you, AGCO, and that's one of our mojos, some people said, with the public art that we're bringing here. And I want to compliment the Duluth Public Art Commission. They launched themselves during 2014, and some of these people are here tonight if you want to raise your hand. But they worked all last year, and excuse me, we'll be unveiling our very first Duluth Public Art Master Plan sometime in March or April, and they have really worked hard on that, so thank you, DPAC. All right, next slide. Let's talk about some of the other things we have going on. Yeah, what's she doing there? All right, we have 69 streets in the city limits of Duluth, and we worked last year, during 2014, we used over 6,000 tons of asphalt to pave and patch our streets. We know that patching and paving streets is important to you, It adds value to your neighborhood, and it adds value to our city. So that's something that we will continue doing. In fact, we're in Norman Downs this week. I know we're driving them crazy, but we are getting a lot of roads patched. We are continuing to implement our stormwater project. We appreciate so much the average of $36 a year that you pay for that stormwater fee is really helping us go in now and replace pipes that are up to 50 years old. So to keep you from being stuck at home for a couple of days, we're going ahead and going in and getting some of these pipes replaced with that stormwater money. So that's a great project we're doing. Also, safety. I know you've heard all the different statistics about how safe we are. According to the FBI, we are the 6th safest city in Georgia. We did expand our K-9 unit this year. And some of the statistics are in your annual report, but I think the police had over 30,000 service calls during the year of 2014, so they do stay very busy. Chief Felcher, as many of you know, has been with us for over 32 years. And Chief Felcher remembers, this is an old Mojo story, he remembers the days when there would be one police officer on duty. And he was on duty one day and he got a domestic call. Where are you, Chief? He got a domestic call and he went and a man was butchering a hog in his living room. And guess who called? His wife. Yeah. So I'm sure he's got some good stories for it. Another mojo that citizens said they really liked about Duluth were our parks. And we are one of 3 cities in Gwinnett County that has a parks program. So a lot of cities can't offer the parks and the parks programs that we have. We spent almost $3 million in our parks during 2014. If you've been to Bunton Park, you'll see a phenomenal state-of-the-art playground, as well as a lot of other improvements. And W.P. Jones Park also had a lot of improvements. So our Parks and Rec Board, we appreciate all that you do to keep our parks looking great. Just for your information, and I think you'll find this exciting, we are adding over 530 residential units to the city of Duluth during 2015. Did you hear that? That hasn't happened since I've been there. I was proud. That's a good sign. And that's all of the city. So that's a great sign. We have heard from some people that they were leaving Duluth because they couldn't find that next house. So we're really trying to address that and put in more residences, high-level residential projects. All right, next slide. Economic development around the city. Let's talk about some different areas. Let's talk about Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. And from this point on, I'm going to call it PIB. Okay? We have a group called PIB 5, and they named themselves that because there are five miles of Peachtree Industrial within the city limit. That's all, just 5 miles. Sometimes that stretch can feel neglected. So a group of business owners in that area, and you're going to meet a couple of them in a few minutes, started a group along with a councilman called PIB 5, and they're looking closely at what's going on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. Why are buildings vacant? What can we do to make them not be vacant? So it's a great focus. And if you look over to the right, you can see me standing. It looks like a tomb, doesn't it? But actually it's a tunnel. And I want to tell you another Mojo story. When you're going down Peachtree Industrial Boulevard, there is a cow pasture on both sides. When you ride over that part of PIB, you're riding over a cow tunnel. And this is a picture of the cow tunnel. When PIB was built, the owner of the farm, which Mr. Burton, he was our teacher, he made a deal with the Georgia Department of Transportation to put a tunnel in so his cows could go to the Chattahoochee River and get water. So you may be driving over a cow when you're going down PIB. Just recently we announced a great new development at the intersection of Sugarloaf and PIB. It's the Fuquay development. It will be a big mixed-use development. I think it's equivalent to a $98 million development. People are already talking about that. Chris told me today that people are calling and wanting to buy up the property on PIB because they know this development is coming in. So we've got some exciting things going on in Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. All right, also, let's move into downtown Duluth. I know you want to hear about this. Update on Dreamland. Thank you, Tim. Where are you? Representing Dreamland. Dreamland is delayed their opening a little bit. I think it's the end of the summer. Is that correct? But for good reasons. You can see the beautiful drawing of what it's going to look like. Dreamland and the city have decided that in order for Dreamland not to be a part of a construction zone once they're open, we're going to go ahead and move forward with the demolition of the building that was the old Parsons building. It is now the home of New Dawn and Accessorize Again. And I won't go into this a lot because I could talk about it for 30 or 40 minutes, but they're well aware, all these tenants, that this progress was happening. And they've all been notified and they know about the demolition. We'll be what's the word? Demolizing? We'll demolish the building, and it will probably stay empty for a little while. It's probably just going to be a green space for a little while. And then you say, well, what about Parsons Alley? Because you're moving part of the building. How can it be an alley? Well, Parsons Alley is going to stay. It'll just be one-sided for a while. But Dreamland's has come back with some really beautiful renderings. They're going to be honoring the history and honoring what Parsons Alley used to be through some drawings and some art within the restaurant. So I think when they come back, we're going to have something even more beautiful. And then hopefully a building will go up where the old building was, and we'll have an alley again. We can answer more questions about that later.